We're up on Inwood Hill, near Inwood Hill Park on Seaman Avenue. And it's the Saturday morning farmers market. And we've come because we want to take a look at what's called Inwood marble, which is part of the bedrock of Manhattan on this, in this section, upper west side, and then you find it on the lower east side. So today I brought some HCl that I put into a little hand sanitizer, and I think we'll be able to see what we got here. Now, when I first came over, I took my HCl and I put it in an area that I'm pretty sure is marble. When we get close up to it, you can see crystalline forms that could be calcite. So I put a little HCl on it and I got no reaction. In fact, I don't even see where I put that. Oh yeah, it was right in here. Let's try again. See if I can get it in the frame. You can see no reaction. But then I realized, well, it's been weathered. Let's try it by making a little powder. So I found a rock. You can see it was harder than the marble, and I scraped away scrape, powder. Then took my HCl and let's see what we get this time. Clear reaction, bubbling, calcite reacting with hydrochloric acid to form carbon dioxide. And here is your Inwood marble. I'm still here with Inwood marble, and I wanted you to look at the area where I just had tested it with acid so that you can kind of see the way the rock is been tilted and is dipping into the earth at an angle rather than its layers, which you can see lying horizontally. So it has been tilted up and is dipping into the earth at an angle from the horizontal. And that would have to be explained by the tectonic forces that metamorphosed this rock to begin with as part of a larger regional metamorphic event that tilted all of this, what had been limestone, and transformed it into marble. Overall, this is considered one of the easier to find exposures of the Inwood marble in the city. So we're up in the Bronx, or what part used to be part of Manhattan, called Marble Hill. And I stopped at the St. Stephen's United Methodist Church because it's a pretty unusual building. One, that it's a wooden church. We don't see that too often. It's beautiful stained glass. And then you can see that the bit of stone detailing that they did do included, I'm sure, INWOOD marble, crystalline, metamorphosed limestone, part of the St. Stephen's United Methodist Church. And then if we just slide on over here, we can see that the entranceway and the first floor has stone around the door, and that too looks pretty much like the marble that would have come, I would guess, right off of INWOOD, right off of Marble Hill. So beautiful old church, St. Stephen's United Methodist, with beautiful stained glass, and they got a plaque which I'm gonna go over and film, but I want to get my bike because I don't like leaving it alone. So this isn't about the building, this is about the site, which says the waiting place across something, I can't quite make it out, Harpun something, the water of ebb and flow, and the ferry of Johannes Vervelen, 1669 to 1693. Nearby stood King's Bridge, 1693, and the second bridge, 1713. On the hill above, the Patriot Army constructed the American Fort, 1776, later known as Fort Prince Charles. So this was disputed territory, and during, I guess, what was the Revolutionary War. And at first we're talking about the Dutch, because that name is Johannes Vervelen. We're still on this area, Marble Hill, and it'll tell us exactly where. We're at the Promenade, 150 West 225th Street, and we have come upon our first nice. You can see the distinct banding and tilting from the metamorphic event that created the rock. The rock is of a different age than the schist we find in Manhattan. It's much older. It's about 500 million years older. It's Proterozoic. And here we see a lovely piece of it tilted and cropping out onto the sidewalk here at 225th Street. And if we get in close, we can see the weathered layers. I'm not sure exactly what the mineralogy here might be. It almost looks like the marble, doesn't it? And maybe we should test it. But I do think it's part of a gneiss, so I would doubt that it's calcite. But let's give it a quick look. So I made a little pile of powder. I took out my knife. I realized my knife was going to be harder than this rock, the steel, and so we're going to test it, see if it bubbles. So here we come in, bringing in the big guns, and I don't see any sign of a reaction. I couldn't get away from this site up here on 225th, and I'm sure this is the INWOOD marble now, jutting out, coming up from INWOOD Hill Park to the south, and you can see it's thrusting up this angle that would shoot over my head, and it's tilted, and right in here, this light colored is crystalline in a way that speaks exactly to this, the way that rock was that we found that did have the acid. We're up on like 234th Kingsbridge, and I just thought I'd show you, here's clearly a use of this INWOOD marble, and you can see why it's not great. It would be very friable, crumbly. It's not a great building stone, but it makes a little decorative archway for 3410, whatever street this is in the Bronx.